Dan, the Messi of AI. I mean, that's a tall order right there.
I think that's really what Carp's built. And in my opinion, it's still undiscovered as just a broader AI play, which is why I believe they're the Messi of AI. I think there's a golden path right now for them to monetize what we view as potentially a $1 trillion market opportunity. And I think investors still have not recognized what this golden goose could be.
We have a lot to talk about in this video, guys. Welcome back to another video. We have another Palantir update to bring you guys this evening. The stock has absolutely been rocketing. We've had some really amazing options plays on this, but we have a couple of key things to break down. There are a couple of analyst reports that have come out that we definitely need to take a look at here. And there is a massive catalyst coming up for Palantir over the next week or so that you guys all need to be aware of. We have to really set our expectations appropriately going into this event so that we can best position ourselves going forward, everybody. So without further ado, if you guys wouldn't mind dropping a like button on this video here, dropping a comment, hitting that subscribe button, and making sure that you guys have notifications turned on so you guys do not miss another video like this. But without further ado, let's roll the intro. Now, before we cover everything about Palantir, guys, the chart, the catalyst, the analyst reports that are coming out, remember, Trade1348.com is still offering that 1 month free trial for you guys to get access to the absolute best education in order to start making money in the market actively if that is something that you are interested. Trusted by over 16,000 members. And remember, I did recently post that video of one of our members. He's 19 years old, completely verified gains here. The kid made up like $100,000 in 13 trading days. I did get another update, and he's up over $300,000 now. It's an amazing community, guys. If you are interested in all of the predictive algorithms, Invictus, all of the other alerts that are provided for you guys there, but most importantly, the education, make sure you guys check out that link down below and use code GAINZ, G-A-I-N-Z, so that you guys can get your first month free. But let's get into the chart here because there's a lot of things that we need to go over. Currently, right now, at the time that I'm recording, Palantir is up about 9.5%. We did hit that high of around 20 today. And actually, that's about where I scaled out for the second time on the call position that I had. You guys can see over here. You have my attention again. This was posted last Friday, Palantir round 2. And then we had this nice one today. And these contracts ended up running to about, let's say, 150%. Let's actually check right now, see how much these are up. Right now they're up currently about 121%. Completely free position here, so we are gonna let that one ride. But looking at this chart right now, guys, it's overcooked. There's really not much else to say here. This thing has been on a very, very, very aggressive move to the upside. And I would not be surprised at all if we saw a little bit of a pullback. We are breaking out of these 52-week highs here, which is an awesome thing to see. But for those of you guys that have been in this stock for a long time, have been paying attention to this thing, you aren't trying to make your money in a single day. You are buying equity in a company that you like over the long term. So pullbacks, which I do think is possible for this stock. Again, we had a, let's see, a 10% day on Friday, another almost 10% day today. Eventually, this thing is going to need to cool off a little bit, but that's not bad at all. I don't want you guys to think, oh, just because I'm saying that this stock has been on a really, really aggressive move, our portfolios are sitting at a nice spot, or if you've taken any of these options trades, you're sitting in a good spot, that a pullback is somehow a bad thing. It's not at all. When you take a look at this thing on the 4-hour time frame as well, again, RSI is at like 77 right now. This thing is cooking to the upside. Now, is there a little bit more meat on the bone to the upside? Yeah, obviously there is. If we end up cracking above that $20 level, I do think we could run for a little bit before a little bit of a pullback. But what you don't necessarily need to be doing right now is freaking out and letting your emotions get the best of you when these stocks are running, as we have said they probably will over the last few weeks here. If you missed it, that's okay. There are so many other opportunities out there if you're looking at short-term trades. But if you're a long-term investor in this thing, there's really not much else that you can do at this point. And we are waiting for that catalyst. We've talked about this before in the past, that what's really going to be setting Palantir off on a really nice trajectory over the long term is obviously earnings. So many people have not necessarily understood what this company actually does, what value they bring, their balance sheet over the last 2 years here. And as we're about to start seeing, a lot of these institutions and larger investors are starting to see that, which is a very good thing. Now, we are going to be talking about this catalyst towards the end of the video, but I do want to talk about this Dan Ives situation with Wedbush right now. So we're initiating coverage on Palantir with an outperform rating and a $25 price target. Price targets to me, guys, are very irrelevant. I don't care really ever where these institutions think a stock is going to go. It's really anybody's guess. You can look at it technically. You can look at it in terms of what they could potentially be valued based on their earnings. But again, these price targets really aren't going to help anybody out very much, because if you look at these, well, if you did think the price target was important and you did really kind of follow these things around, well, then you would exit at 25. Well, are you guys looking for an extra $5 in this stock, or are you looking to hold this thing over the long term because it continues to generate value for the marketplace that it's in? That's just my thought process, though. But looking at this a little bit deeper, we can see here that Palantir has built an AI fortress that is unmatched, and the stock is set to soar 54%, which it's done about, 24 of that already, as the new industrial revolution begins, Wedbush says. Now, coming down a little bit further, Palantir stock is set to pop, yada, yada, yada. The data software firm, which has been funded in part by the CAIs in QTEL venture capital arm, is the Messi of AI, Ives says, referring to the Argentine soccer superstar Lionel Messi. As we begin the fourth industrial revolution, Palantir is engaging in the widespread trend of various industries, leveraging recent generative AI innovations to streamline operations and improve expense profiles. What does that sound like? Everything that we already know, because we already understand this stock. We are starting to see these large institutional investors starting to pay attention as well, which again is a very good thing for the long-term success of this company if you start to see these institutional backers flying in. So having these institutional backers is good, and really hearing their thesis behind why they're investing in these companies is a good thing, aside from the price targets. I really don't care about any of those things. But the catalyst coming up for Palantir is incredibly important, and that's their earnings. So Palantir is set to report earnings on Monday, August 7th. We've been talking a lot in the past when we talk about Palantir that the catalyst that's going to set this stock off over the long term is repeated beats of earnings in moving in the right direction, which this year they've absolutely done. They've diversified their commercial clients. Their stock-based compensation has started to come down, which makes it easier for them to be profitable. Now, looking at this upcoming earnings, we are going to be doing an in-depth breakdown of the earnings preview and once their earnings are released throughout the end of this week. So make sure you guys are prepared for that. But at this point right now, with Palantir running so much, they need to have almost a blowout earnings in order to justify these valuations that they're currently at right now. Now, when we see institutional money coming into this thing, those are going to be things that they are going to depend on a lot. If they don't see what they necessarily need to, well, then they're going to get a little skittish. Now, is that most likely going to happen with Palantir? I don't think so. But when you think about what we're going into next week, I would not be surprised at all if we did see a little bit of a pullback. Now, again, that's mainly because we have increased so much basically since the beginning of May, trading sub 10, but right around their last earnings report to where we are now, that it's not really a responsible thing for me to come out here and say that we are ready for this thing to absolutely explode all the way up to crazy high numbers that you guys are all looking for. It just isn't a responsible thing that I can come out here and say. Do I still like this stock? Absolutely. But remember, this is something that I'm looking at on a very, very large time frame, 5 to 10 years for shares and buying equity in this thing. And it provides a really, really good opportunity for short-term trades as well, which we really like to do on Trade1348.com. Now, again, I know I'm probably going to get a couple of comments on this video here saying, oh my God, you're coming out, you're saying Palantir is bad. Nothing about what I've said in this video, guys, is saying that Palantir is bad. What's happened here is absolutely awesome. We're seeing a stock that we all like really, really move to the upside. But remember, nothing I say in these videos here is financial advice. It's me giving you guys a better look at the information that's out there in an easier to understand way than you may have been able to realize otherwise. So looking at this thing going forward, where could could we potentially see this thing go? Well, we do have these levels up here right around 19. I could see us kind of settling in around there before earnings. You are going to see a couple of these EMAs, these exponential moving averages, move up as well over the next few days, and we could easily settle down around one of those, either the 13 or the 24, right before their earnings report. But guys, remember, I think this is a time here, especially with this stock, to kind of almost pat ourselves on the back as long-term investors of this company, because if you take a look at, let's say, the weekly chart, there has been a lot of wolatility over the last few years here. You've seen some crazy things, with money printing back in 2020, inflation soaring. You saw the tightening cycle come in, the tapering of asset purchase, the sell-offs in the markets, and now we're starting to see things move back in a direction that I think a lot of people are enjoying. So guys, that's really going to wrap up this video here. If you did enjoy the information and analysis that I provided you guys, make sure you guys go down, hit that like button, and hit that subscribe button if you guys want to come back here for some more videos like this. But other than that, team, I will see you in the next one. Peace.